Hello, hello, and welcome back to Two Chicks and a Horror Flick. My name is Felicia Connor.
And I'm Tawny, right?
And today we are very excited and honored. We have a special guest. We have Trevor from the podcast Film versus Movie. So welcome.
Yay,
hello.
welcome, Trevor.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Yes. And the movie Trevor brought to us is Dreamcatcher from 2003. So the Stephen King 2003 version. Yay!
Also, just as a plug, if you listen to our Misery episode with Paige, Trevor is Paige's husband.
That's true. We're married.
Yeah.
We did it.
They did do it.
Yeah.
So Trevor, why don't you give us just a quick little synopsis of your guys' podcast?
So our podcast, Film vs. Movie, it is about four friends who debate, if you will, upon the merits of motion pictures being film, such as high art, or movies, which is more lowbrow, common schlock, I guess. We just talk about different movies that we watch, and some of them are new movies, some of them are old movies. And we have a good time. A lot of it is like off the cuff, very just off the top of our heads, and we just roll with it. So it's really fun.
It's awesome. It's an awesome podcast.
Oh, and if thank you.
You're listening to this and you haven't checked out theirs, highly recommend. Go listen.
Yes, I recommend as well. Shameless plug. Yep. Shameless plug.
And where would people find you for this shameless plug?
I think we're on everything. I listen to us on Spotify, but we're also on Podbean and like anywhere you get podcast stuff. We're not on YouTube or anything like that. We could be, though, maybe in the future. I don't know, but we'll see.
Oh, sneak peek of what might come to be.
Ooh.
Oh, I know.
dropping bombs here on the Two Chicks podcast.
Okay, so first off, let's start with Trevor. What are you drinking?
I'm not sure what this is. My wife, Paige, also from Film vs. Movie, made it for me. But I think it's like 44 North, like cucumber vodka with a little bit of 7-Up and lemon juice. And it's fantastic. We got drunk off these last night. So that was...
We did. I was there.
Welcome back to alcoholism.
That sounds good.
They were so good.
It's super fresh, dude.
So refreshing. Yes.
Yeah. I am not ready to let go of summer yet, so had to bring out the cucumber drinks.
Yeah. Felicia, what are you drinking?
So I am drinking some rosé, and I have it here. You're going to love this Jewish Star Stopper that I have, but
nice.
It's Marchese di Borgosolo and Rosato Ugualia. So that's what it is. It's
Solid.
very good. It's very good.
Nice.
What about you, Tawny?
You crushed it. Thank
you.
Yeah. You crushed it, dude. Not a single person like tilted their head in confusion at all listening to that.
No, they were like spot on.
They're like, yes.
That's it.
What about you, Tawny?
I am drinking something I'm very excited to report, because I was thinking to myself, you remember over the summer with the Trulies, and I like them, and they had a whole punch pack. I was really stoked about that. And I thought, what are they going to do with those punch packs? They've got to stop selling them, because that's a super summery thing. They have to come up with something for like fall, winter. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? They did. They have a new... It's called Light It Up. It is the pack, and they're all like holiday. So this one's crayon orange sparkler, and one of them is like, spiced apple something. One of them's like sangria something. I don't know.
Something.
I'm sure I'm gonna drink them more and say the names more, so you'll see it. But they're pretty good. Trevor, you tried one last night, didn't you?
I think I tried that sangria one last night, and it was quite delicious. I will say it had like a weird like cinnamony spice flavor, like aftertaste to it, which is very Christmassy, and that's like not for me at all. So, but I did like the initial flavor of it. I thought they were really good. So
yeah, as it warms up, it does get a little spicier.
Yeah,
which is weird, but
it's an interesting sensation.
Yeah.
I have a question. So what are some of your favorite, or just one, horror or scary movies?
Probably my favorite is Slither by James Gunn. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, or even covered it on the show or not. But that's probably my favorite one. I'm a real sucker for like alien invasion movies, and I think that one's like you don't say. Oh yeah, you're right. Hey, look at that, we did it again. And I think that one's probably one of the best done, at least by my standards. Like I just love all the beats that it hits. I really like it. And I love the cast is really good as well. Nathan Fillion like kills it as like the leading man. So it's really good. I also like, I don't know if Hot Fuzz is necessarily like Shaun of the Dead's good, but I think Hot Fuzz is my favorite of, now I'm drawing a blank.
Horror comedy?
No, what's his name? Edgar Wright. That's who it is.
Thanks, Paige.
Thank you, off-screen voice in the background. Anyways, Edgar Wright. I think that's one of my favorite. That's probably my favorite Edgar Wright film, and I would consider it a horror film personally, even though it's more comedy and more like actiony thriller towards the end. But that's probably those are my two tops right there.
That's a good one. Okay, so I have a follow-up question. I love aliens, like real aliens. Or aliens in general, okay?
We talking about like James Cameron aliens, or we talking about aliens?
Aliens. I love alien movies, alien documentaries. I freaking loved Ancient Aliens. When I was going to graduate school for religion, they talked about aliens. Okay, so I love aliens. So I'm curious. You have alien movies that are, this might just be, you guys are like, she's fucking weird, but are like Cocoon and things like that, where the aliens are actually kind beings. And then you have these other movies where they're coming and slaughtering everybody. If aliens were real, what do you think that they would be? More like, or both?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I think like a lot of the stuff that we base, like the way that we interact with aliens, especially in movies, is based on like American culture, which is kind of interesting. And American culture tends to be kind of like Starship Troopers. If you guys have ever seen Starship Troopers, very imperialism and stuff like that. I want to believe that like if aliens were real, they would be more
enlightened.
Yeah, like that they would be more trying to extend the olive branch more so than just like, just kill us and steal our resources or whatever, Yeah. So
hopefully
I like to think. I hope so. I hope they're nice.
Okay, cool. I think the same thing. Thanks for humoring me, you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was a great question. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah. I did notice the similarities because I know that there was a back and forth, Trevor, on which movie to bring on, Slither or this, or maybe other options. But as I watched this, I was like, this definitely is Slither vibes also.
Yeah. And I remember so the first time I watched this, and maybe we'll get into this, I'm not sure. I don't want to step over anything we're doing here. But I remember the first time I watched this, I was like a kid, and I was fascinated by this movie. I thought it was so good, and I've seen it like a few times over my life, and I feel like every time I watch it, my opinion changes on how I feel about this movie. So it's that's why I was like, we got to do this one. This one's weird. We got to do it. So
it is weird.
Is weird. Yeah.
If it just keeps getting worse and worse, your opinion, you might just want to stop.
I kind of think so. Yeah.
Go with your best feeling of it.
Yeah. I kind of agree now. I'm with you. Yes.
So put a pin in that. We'll come back.
All right.
I want to know, I can't remember if we've ever talked about this, like how you came to horror. Would you say that it is your favorite genre? I put you in that bucket because it's Pages.
Well, definitely.
It's just like, I know you like it, but
I do. I used to hate horror as a kid and into like my adolescent years as like a teenager and a young adult. I used to think it was really cheesy and lame. And I've since working with like the horror festival that, came to Idaho 5 or 6 years ago or however long that was. And like going there and experiencing more of a fun side of horror, and the more, even like the things that are cheesy and like corny and ridiculous, are more fun to me than anything else I watch, I think. And so I've really kind of gravitated towards horror. And I do think now, adult Trevor, that is probably my favorite genre of movies, like just because it's so broad and it's like so different from movie to movie. You know what I mean? So it's I really love horror. Yeah.
So you've already talked a little bit about why you picked this movie, but is there anything else that you want to touch on? Just why you chose this movie to bring onto the podcast?
Yeah. So like one of the initial things that brought me back to this movie is I was talking to Paige about this a while back. On my last time I viewed it, I had a lot of issues with it. Like there was a lot of things where I was like, I feel like, and it's an older movie now, and I could do this movie better, I think. And so I had this like delusions of grandeur, excuse me, of like rewriting the script to Dreamcatcher and making it really good, you know, because I was like, there's good parts and there's small pieces that are really good about this movie. And then I even like went as far as I read the entire book just recently. And I got to say, like, it's just not there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
there's not anything there that you could really turn into like a crazy, like a blockbuster, or even like, I don't know. I mean, maybe like somewhat interesting, but not what this movie got when it was initially released. So, which is crazy, but yeah. I was just interested. I wanted to do it justice, and then come to find out there was no justice to be had.
Okay.
Wow.
Interesting. Have you read this book, Felicia?
I haven't.
Ooh.
This isn't one that I've read.
Oh, girl.
I want to read it. I want to read it. When I was doing the research and I was looking at like some of the stuff, there was little comparisons and stuff. I was like, God, I want to read this book.
Mm.
Because I
also
aliens.
felt like from watching the movie, I was like, I'm missing some shit. I feel like there would be a lot in the book.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Definitely.
Okay.
There is a lot missing from what you watched versus what you would read. So
even with that, having read the book, you still don't feel like it could have been made into an even better movie?
I think it could have been made better. I just don't think it could have been compelling. You know what I mean? Like, I think somebody, I don't know if I'm the guy or not, but somebody could definitely make a better movie. But I think it would be kind of like a Zack Snyder Justice League situation where even the redone movie still was like not worth watching, you know? So.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
One man's humble opinion. I probably just made a lot of people upset, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. Based on these reviews, I don't think you made anybody upset. Are you guys ready to get into it?
Yeah.
This has been a good convo. All right. Let's pop in. We are talking about Dreamcatcher from 2003. I watched it on Amazon Prime. I had to rent that bad boy. The director is Lawrence Kasdan. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Lawrence Kasdan. So he co-wrote Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and The Bodyguard. And he was the writer-director on The Big Chill, The Accidental Tourist, and Silverado. I just was really surprised with all those, like Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and The Bodyguard. Loved all of those, so I thought I should put that in there.
What a weird grouping of... Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, genres, whatever. It was adapted from Stephen King's book, Dreamcatcher. The budget was $68 million, and the box office was
Jesus.
Yeah. Unreal, dude.
Yeah. And in the box office was 75.5 million. So a little bit more. It's like millions more, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, that's actually considered a flop by movie standards.
I was thinking.
It has to like basically triple what it cost at the initial box office in order for it to be considered successful, because they don't account for like marketing costs in budget of films or anything like that. And they typically spend a fortune on marketing. So yeah, it actually flopped pretty bad.
Oh, that's great feedback.
Yeah.
Tidbits.
You're welcome.
Great
feedback. Thank you.
Inside stuff. No big deal.
Yeah. We got the inside scoop on this episode. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 28%. IMDb gave it 5.5 out of 10. And then Letterboxd gave it 2.4 out of 5. I added this because I usually don't, but it was so different. Amazon Prime. So people who watched on Amazon Prime or rated it there gave it a 4.6 out of 5.
Holy shit.
Dude, I thought the exact same thing, because Paige and I watched it, and she is the one who initially was like, look, it's like almost 5 out of 5. And I go, what the fuck? There's no way that's fucking 5 out of 5. So I don't know what you Amazon crowd are into, but y'all are weird, dude.
All right. The cast is, I love this guy, Damian Lewis. First time I've actually really recognized him as an actor was in Billions. and that show Billions. And now looking back at movies, I'm like, oh, there's the guy from Billions. Damian Lewis was Jonesy. Jason, I'm talking about Damian Lewis, guys. Sorry.
No, I just needed a face.
I saw his name in my notes and just went off.
Yeah, I think like, Band of Brothers is probably like his most famous role before that, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you for correcting me, Trevor.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Sorry. I'll sit quietly in the dark
Billions.
back here.
No, please keep coming. I love it. Jason Lee was Beaver. Timothy Oliphant was Pete. Felicia. Come on now. Thomas Jane was Henry. Donnie Wahlberg was Duddits. Morgan Freeman was Colonel Abraham Curtis. And Tom Sizemore was Owen.
It took me, I have to tell you, it took me like half the movie to be like, who is this guy, Thomas Jane?
Yeah.
He was the guy in The Mist. I was
The Mist, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All recognizable faces, all really good actors.
Yeah.
So I think the people who didn't like it, which was a lot of people, were surprised because it was such an all-star cast.
Yeah.
All right. So I told Tawny that I would do the little summary. This is the first time I'm ever doing it.
Ooh, the
Instead
2 minutes with Tawny.
Yeah. So
right.
Sorry, everybody. I know you love your 2 minutes with Tawny. It's going to be about 4 to 5 minutes with Felicia.
Ooh, I like that. That's catchy. That's got
4
legs.
to 5 minutes.
That's got legs, Felicia.
That's what I said too. I was like, that's good, dude. Use it.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm going to start with this. Jonesy, Beaver, Pete, and Henry are 4 BFFs on an annual hunting trip in Maine. As children, they all acquired telepathic powers, which they call the Line, after saving a boy with disabilities named Douglas Duddits Cavell from bullies and befriending him. The movie starts with Henry, the mind-reading psychiatrist who upsets his client with some in-your-face truth bombs that cause him to run out of his office in tears. Right as Henry is about to shoot himself in the head, his buddy Jonesy calls him and suggests they go visit their friend Duddits over the weekend. Okay, all is well. They mention SSDD, same shit, different day, which is one of the many little catchphrases they say throughout the movie and the only one I'm going to mention in this summary. Jonesy then shows his mind-reading abilities with a cheating student. Now it is car salesman friend Pete to show his step tracing, finding lost things ability, and he helps a woman find her keys. She's more freaked out than impressed and hightails it out of there, even though Pete wants a date. Beaver's in a bar, calls Jonesy from a payphone, and now we can see that they all can read each other's minds too. Beaver tells Jonesy to be careful. Jonesy thinks he sees Duddits as a child across the street and walks into traffic, getting totally demolished by a car hitting him. He dies, but only for a moment, because 6 months later, he is able to make it to the group's annual trip with nothing but a limp. Jonesy rescues a man lost in the forest with horribly disgusting digestive problems. Jonesy and Beaver let him rest and recover inside their cabin. Suddenly, all the forest animals run past their cabin in the same direction, and then 2 military helicopters fly in and announce that the area is quarantined. Jonesy and Beaver return to the cabin to find a trail of blood from the bedroom to the bathroom, where the sick man is sitting semi-catatonic on the toilet, which is now covered in blood. The man poops out something alive, falls off the toilet dead with a bloody bum. Beaver attempts to trap the 3-foot-long lamprey-like creature under the toilet lid, but he succumbs to his OCD to pick up a toothpick, allowing the creature to break out and kill him. Jonesy tries to escape, but is confronted by a large alien called Mr. Gray, who possesses Jonesy's body and emits a red dust around the entire cabin. Nearby, Henry and Pete crash their SUV to avoid running over a frostbitten woman from the sick dude's original hunting party. Henry walks for help while Pete stays with the woman. She dies and also excretes a worm, which Pete barely manages to kill. Mr. Gray tricks and kidnaps Pete, but Jonesy telepathically warns Henry to stay hidden. Henry returns to the cabin to find Beaver dead and the worm that killed him laying eggs. To kill all of the alien larvae, he sets fire to the cabin. Meanwhile, an elite military unit specializing in extraterrestrials, led by the slightly unhinged Colonel Adams Curtis, seeks to contain everyone exposed to the aliens. Colonel Curtis is also planning to retire after his operation, gives this really cool looking gun from John Wayne to Captain Owen Underhill, his trusted friend and second in command. The two lead an airstrike into a large forest clearing where the alien spaceship has landed. The aliens use telepathy to ask for mercy, but the helicopters massacre most of the aliens with miniguns and missiles. The alien ship self-destructs, destroying the remaining aliens and 2 helicopters. We're almost done, guys. Here we go. Home stretch. Jonesy retraces his memories of the area while watching Mr. Gray use his body. While watching Mr. Gray use his body. Mr. Gray tries to coerce Pete into cooperating, but bites him in half when he refuses. Jonesy realizes that Mr. Gray possessed him, not by chance, but to access past memories of Duddits, which he needs. Henry arrives at the fenced-in concentration camp only to realize that Colonel Curtis plans to kill all of those quarantined there. Henry convinces Underhill to prevent this by going over Curtis's head and have him relieved of his duties. Henry and Underhill break out of the camp and head to Duddits' home. Duddits, who is dying of leukemia, informs them Mr. Gray is headed for the Quabbin Reservoir to seed the drinking water with alien larvae. Curtis, realizing the danger looming to the entire planet, leaves the camp in his armed helicopter and tracks down Henry, Underhill, and Duddits via a microchip that's in that gun. At the reservoir, Underhill is mortally wounded and dies shortly after he shoots Curtis down. In the reservoir's pump house, Henry uses Underhill's machine gun to kill Mr. Gray's worm, but cannot decide if Jonesy is possessed. Duddits confronts Mr. Gray, who finally exits Jonesy's body. The two struggle as Duddits reveals himself to also be an alien of a different race. Both aliens explode into a cloud of red dust, which briefly resembles a Dreamcatcher. Jonesy, now himself again, steps on the final alien larvae before it can escape and contaminate the reservoir. That is it. All right.
That was fucking great. Yeah. And I'm leaving it in. Great job, Felicia. Loved it.
God, I'm glad you liked it. Whew, I'm sweating over here.
You got all of it. You did all of it.
I do not envy you, dude. Yeah. This would have been such a hard one.
Yeah. That one was ridiculous.
God. All right. So, overall, let's start with Trevor. Oh. How did you feel about this movie upon this watch?
Man, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. It went on for entirely too long. It's so crazy. I used to love this movie. I used to be like fascinated by this movie, and I hadn't seen it. It's probably been like 4 years since I've seen it. And I'm just like, what did I ever see in this, dude? Like ever, I don't know. Maybe it's because I do have the insight of like having read it now, and it's like maybe that kind of built it up for me or something. But man, this is just a trash can fire if I ever saw one, dude.
You know what? That happened with me with Misery. I loved that movie. And then I tried to reread the book right before recording with Paige and Tawny. And I didn't read the whole thing, but the whole piece that I did read, I didn't like in the movie.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
It just tainted your whole experience. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Don't read, guys. That's the message.
Give it up, all right?
Or stop. Just read. Or read years apart.
Yeah, just stop with the reading, okay?
Just don't.
Tawny, how did you feel about this movie?
I don't even know what to say, dude. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Like, I was like, I'm going to come to this and just listen to you guys talk about it. I mean, I definitely don't think I liked it. Like, it's pretty bad, but I didn't hate it either. Like, I think there's some ideas here. Does that make sense? Like, it's not so fucking crazy. No, it's not. It is fucking, it's a wild movie, but I wasn't like mad while I was watching it. I guess
that makes sense. You're saying like, it wasn't so bad that you're like, why am I fucking wasting my time?
Right.
Like,
I guess
some movies are so bad that it makes you mad that you're watching it.
Exactly.
It makes you angry that it disrespected your time. Yeah.
Yes.
I wouldn't say that about this. I mean, it definitely, I agree, it went on for too long. I was like, the audacity of this 2 hours and 20 minute movie.
Jesus,
like,
yeah, dude.
Fucking relax. But But yeah, I'm like just somewhere in the middle. I feel like there was like good ideas that just got totally fucking lost. Like it feels like 3 different movies mashed together. So I'm like, I don't know. And I'm hoping that there's more that you're going to tell me, both of you together about the book. But based on your earlier comments, it sounds like no.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
So I don't know. I'm on the fence, but I definitely didn't love it. Didn't hate it. I'm somewhere in the middle. Felicia,
fair enough.
How did you feel?
Okay. So I'm kind of excited that now I have a legit answer to when anybody asks some podcasts, what's a movie you like that would be an unpopular opinion? Because I really liked it.
What?
Oh,
yeah, good for
okay.
you. Good for you.
Good for you.
Yeah. I'm glad you found joy, in this experience.
I did. I liked it. I think, though, I agree with everything you guys said. Like, I feel like it went on for way too long. I think actually the whole military piece could have been removed.
Get it out of there.
Yeah, you didn't even need that piece. But like I mentioned, I like aliens. I like also seeing things that I haven't seen before, and I have not seen aliens come out of the butt before. And so that was interesting.
Or since.
Yeah, or since. So yeah, I enjoyed watching this movie.
Okay.
Nice.
This is interesting. We have the whole spectrum here. Hated it, liked it.
Yeah.
And I'm in between.
You're neutral.
Yeah.
All right.
I think
let's get into it.
Yeah. You want me to go first?
To begin?
Yeah. Where do I begin? Where do I begin? Well, I guess let's start at the beginning. So we watched, after watching that, and you mentioned it in your like breakdown, like 3 or 4 like consecutive scenes in a row of, hey, look, we're telepathic, and everyone going like,
yeah.
Wait a minute, can you read my mind? I didn't say that to you, like literally 4 times in a row we get to see that happen, and it's like, I feel like you guys could have just broken this bad boy down into maybe 1 or 2 of these, we didn't need to watch all 4 of these guys have the exact same story, like it was just ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I'm getting it.
We get it. Yeah. Move it along. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. I liked that it didn't bother me, but I obviously noticed it. It was like him, oh, now and me, and oh, now and me, and oh, now and me. Okay, right. Now we're at the cabin. Okay, cool. I'm on the same page, except I don't know who Duddits is, but
right. I did think that Pete's scene, that's Timothy Oliphant, has like lost the car keys. I thought that was probably the best one of all of them. And I was like, because it kind of like went somewhere, and I feel like if you had only seen that, it would have been much more captivating than watching. I think his was like 3rd. You got to see his 3rd, and it's like that's the best one of all of them, and we're already got it like kind of soured because we just watched 2 of them right before that, and so it's like, because it does a really good job of like him walking through the different store across the street and kind of like, oh, you got this and you bought this thing and then you came back here, and it's like it felt like I was moving along with him, instead of just like the other 2 where it was like, I'm telepathic,
Right.
Yeah. The teacher, that whole scene was not necessary. You cheated on the test. I'm ripping up the test. He leaves.
Yeah. Yeah. It was to show that he's a great guy because he saw his shoes were old and tattered.
Right.
And then the shoes, I think, tied into the little boy. Duddits, right, was wearing those shoes. But still, it wasn't like, just wasn't like strong enough. Yeah, because then he saw the shoes again while he was dying. And then I was like, what does this mean with the shoes? I was so focused on the shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I agree that the Timothy Oliphant one, what's his name?
Timothy Oliphant. Oliphant.
Pete.
Yeah, Pete.
His like telepathy vignette is the best one. I agree. And also, I've never seen in my life such a quick flip of like, this person is an amazing or is a terrible actor, and this person is a great. Because I'm talking about the lady. Are you guys talking about the lady?
Yeah, dude.
Yes, okay. It's your faces. I was like, maybe you know where I'm going with this.
I literally have a note. I have a note in my little notebook about that lady, about that girl.
I did too. I wrote down. She was like, because in the moment with him about finding the keys, she's kind of freaked out. So she's like, thank you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, it was laughable. I laughed really hard.
That was the best take they had.
But then it was fun. It was really good immediately after because she gets in the car and she's like, yeah, but I don't remember that line. I didn't write it down, but she was like, yeah, of course, sure. For the dinner or whatever.
Yeah, to go get clams or something somewhere.
And it was just such a stark, like the first line was so god awful. Thank you. The second one was so well delivered. I was like, I can't tell if she's a terrible or an amazing actress.
Right. The note that I wrote down was that no person in the world would be that scared of someone finding their car keys. You know what I mean? Like she was completely freaked out. If that happened in real life, your jaw would be dropped. You'd be
like, let's go on the date tonight.
Yeah, you're like, let's go, dude.
This guy, pretty cool.
Yeah.
So many opportunities.
Right, exactly. I lose stuff all the time. You're telling me I wouldn't want to have that dude hanging around?
We're
just
married,
you know?
And I mean, come on. What else can he do? Like, not like that. I didn't mean it like that. I meant like,
Paige made a joke.
I was thinking like stocks, like
me too. That's where I was going.
Who knows what he could do?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I thought it was.
I was thinking stocks. Definitely stocks.
Stocks, not the bed. I was thinking stocks.
Yeah, 100%.
I thought that it was a little laughable if we're talking about switches. How this guy was ready to blow his brains out. He was going to end his life. And then he's just like, oh, hey, Jonesy, let's go visit Dennis. And he's totally chill after that. He's to a point where he's ending his life. And then he's like, oh, shit. Good thing you called, man.
Oh,
he's like, see you Saturday.
Yeah.
See you Saturday.
You know what? You're right. We should go to that dude's house this weekend instead of never mind. I'm not doing anything right now. So, yeah.
That was ridiculous.
I was like, what the fuck, man?
And then I don't know if in the book did he have some, because of his powers, quick healing ability? Or was that just because they allude to him having died and that car hit him hard. And then he's just kind of limping 6 months later.
Yeah. So in the book, they talk about there's no quick healing thing. I think the timeline's a little different. I don't know why. I mean, I have to fact check that. I don't know. Don't look it up. It's definitely longer in the book. But they do talk about like it like exploded his hip. You know what I mean? Like his hip was like completely turned into dust or whatever from that car wreck. And he's like has a limp for the rest of the book even, and it's like it's not just a limp, it causes him pain, and it actually like plays a much bigger factor in the book. Like by the end of the book, the fact that he has a hip injury starts to like slow Mr. Gray down, you know what I mean? Like by the end of the book. And so it's they definitely utilize it a lot better, and I think it was I because it's like a Stephen King trope that he has to write about everything that happens to him. But he got in a car wreck right before he wrote the book, and it was like a really bad. I think he was on foot, like he was walking and got hit by a car, and so that obviously it's like he probably blew his hip out getting hit by a car or something. Yeah.
He talks about it in his book. He almost died, and you were mentioning, Trevor, that he doesn't like this book very much. And I think that could be just what you're saying. This is the first book he wrote after he was in that car wreck. And in his book on writing, he talks about the amount of searing pain he was in and how he had to try all these different ways of sitting. And then his very typical, he writes for, long periods of time, that he couldn't do that. And so it was frustrating. So I wonder if that played into also him, just the whole experience of this book not being his favorite.
Yeah, it could. There's probably is something to that. Like just like thinking about the book and being like, "Fuck that book, dude! Fuck writing that book. Fuck everything about that book." Yeah.
I
probably.
completely forgot about his hip injury by the end of the movie. So that's interesting to know that it is supposed to play a bigger part. I just totally. It seems like it gets wiped, after
like it's
30
totally
minutes
pointless.
in.
He just has a limp, and if I'm the actor, I would be irritated that I had to do a limp for the entire movie for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, because it doesn't really have a payoff at the end in any way. And so I feel
I got a glimpse of it, a glimpse of what you're talking about when he was carrying the dog to the well house. He there was a moment he was going up the stairs that he went, ugh. and was trying to go.
That's it. Yeah.
And that was it. But I did think, oh, the pain is causing him to not be as efficient, right? He's struggling because of the pain. But it was real quick.
Yeah. They really glossed over it. And like I said, in the book, and I don't know if I want to spoil it, or I don't know. Do you guys care? Does anybody give a shit about spoilers of books?
I don't think so.
We already told you stop reading. Anyways, in the book, by the end, like I said, this all takes place in one night, just like the movie does. And by the end, Mr. Gray has like switched vehicles. He's gone all over the place to different towns and stuff like that, trying to get to this like water well. And by the end, his vehicle wrecks, like where he tells him to punch it at the end, and he like hits the ditch and gets out and starts walking. So that happens in the book, but like way earlier. So he has to walk for a lot longer, and his hip starts like really giving out. And I think by the time he gets to the well house, his hip breaks actually. And so he's like at a crawl at one point, trying to get, and he's like struggling to get the manhole cover open and all this stuff. So it's like all these things that come back to like, well, he broke his hip. And so that's like one of the key factors that is slowing him down.
Oh shit. That's why Duddits lured him into traffic.
Yeah, most likely. I think so, yeah.
Oh, because he says that. Why would he lure me into traffic? But it's never answered. But maybe that was the reason, because he's preparing them their whole lives for this thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, supposedly, I don't know what made him like the strongest or the one that the alien would want to go into. So he had to kind of, debilitate him in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I thought after watching the movie, because they mentioned him dying twice and maybe that had something to do with it. I was like, maybe that's why he lured him into the street. But as you guys were talking, I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense that he had to like make it so that he can't be used as a vessel as, efficiently.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know which one is.
You're right, Tawny. They do say,
true.
I think it's because he died.
That's why I was laughing. They like, there's like a literal, like, I think twice it's just straight up. I feel like they look into the camera and go, Jonesy died. That's why the alien can be in him and he's not dead now, and you're like, okay,
exactly,
okay. I mean, all right. Yeah, sure. I mean, you seem to know that for a fact. So, all right, I guess,
Sure. Even though that makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, you just came to that conclusion on your own. Okay, cool. All right.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
I like the debilitating him so that he can't be used as a host as well. I like that better. Yeah. That makes more sense.
That makes sense, right? Like you could have done something with that. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff where when I was watching this with Paige, I was getting frustrated because it was like, I was watching stuff. We talked about that where it's like, it feels as though a lot is missing. The difference is that you see, it's like they just chopped up scenes or whatever out of the book and just laid them in order and said, well, this is a movie now. And it's like, you guys picked all the wrong stuff to focus on. And you guys talked about that, like with the military stuff, like you could have completely gotten away from that. I feel like that with a lot of other stuff where it's like, you guys didn't have to focus on any of this stuff or even like make it a point to bring it up. It's just that it's like the footnotes basically for reading it, it's like what you watch that they just bring stuff up for no reason. It doesn't have a payoff in the movie,
Yeah. It's gotta be one of the wildest horror movies maybe ever, just because of the amount of like, it's so like schizophrenic.
It's relentless.
Like, yeah. It's all the fuck over the place. And I had seen this before when I was like younger, but I didn't remember a lot about it. So this was like, I was watching it for the first time almost, I mean, it's amazing what I feel like I remember. And it's all the shit in the cabin. That's what I remember from the first time I watched it. Cause I remember it being gory and scary and grounded.
Yeah.
The rest of the shit, I must've just fallen asleep or thrown it out of my brain or just found the movie too boring to remember. I don't remember any of the other shit because not only do we have to deal with the military, we're also in Jonesy's head like a good amount of the movie, which I didn't hate. I didn't think that was like a bad idea. It just was like the 18th fucking idea on top of the stack of ideas I was like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, I think it really sets in when they show up at the military base. Like the first time you see Morgan Freeman with his giant eyebrows. What's going on with the eyebrows? First of all, who's making these decisions? But it was like the first time you see him, and like they start having their whole dialogue about they call him Ripley because of that broad off the Alien movies, and then it's like, you're like, okay, all right. And then it just goes in. And then at one point he goes, I've been fighting these things for 25 years, and you're like, wait, what the fuck? We just glossed right over that. Wait a minute. This guy's been around for 25 years, and you've been the guy at the center of it all,
Oh my God. The juxtaposition between moments of we're just going to gloss over that. Yeah, I've been fighting these things for 25 years. And then there's other moments where people continue to reiterate shit to each other that they don't need to because they're best friends for the last 30 years.
Do you remember this? Yeah.
Yeah, this exposition. Exactly. Do you remember?
I have a note. Exposition the movie is what I got on here.
Yep.
Yeah. I when Jonesy gets hit by the car, they go to that next scene immediately after, 6 months later. They're in the cabin, right? Jonesy and Henry are outside chopping firewood or something like that, and he's like, you remember I got hit by that car, and you're like, we literally just saw that, dude. We went from that scene to this scene, and you're saying do you remember when I got hit by a car? It's like, yeah, we remember.
we remember as the audience, and also your best friends remember because it was literally 6 months ago.
6 months ago, man. Yeah,
Yep. You haven't even paid off those hospital bills. Everybody remembers, dude.
Everybody remembers. I totally agree. The only thing I can think of why he did that, though, is because we don't know what he saw. And I think even if they showed us a little boy in underwear across the street, we wouldn't have known what that was.
Yeah, we'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, what the fuck is happening? Why does anybody else care about this boy? Yeah. So he had to say, he didn't have to say remember when I was hit by the car. He could have been like, man, well, yeah, I see what he's saying. He's like, yeah, I remember when I said, so how else would he say? So I walked out into the street because I thought I saw Duddits. You know what I mean? You just wanted to let us know.
I mean, you could say I haven't told you this yet,
but remember when I was hit by that car?
But when I walked out into the street, I thought I saw Duddits. There's a million different ways
to go out there. Yeah.
You could talk. I mean, you could talk about his hips fucking killing him because they're moving firewood, and then
why the hell did Duddits want me to walk out into the middle of the street?
Yeah,
I told you I thought I saw him, right?
Yeah, you remember that? Do you remember when I told you that?
Yes, so many options.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, I'm with you. There are a bunch of ways that you could probably rewrite it. I just feel like the structure of it in general, where it's you mentioned that seeing a little boy in his underwear across the street, you could show us that and then not touch back on that until the second half of the movie where you have this oh, that's what that's was.
The little boy.
That's much better filmmaking than just there's a boy in his underwear in the street or whatever. Or no, he just walks off, right? He just walks off and gets hit by a car. And then the next scene, this is why I did it. I saw somebody out there, and it's well, we could have waited a little bit, gave us a little bit of anticipation as to why, us questioning why these things are happening instead of something happens and then we immediately get told why it happened. It's just sloppy writing, which is weird because it's Lawrence Kasdan, the guy who wrote Star Wars Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, it's respect us as an audience. You don't have to spoon feed me. You don't have to tell me everything that's going on. Let me wonder. Let me explore. Let me find out and have these, oh my God, aha moments are the best feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I do feel the script is fucking rough. One of the worst
It's
scripts.
A first draft is what I think.
It totally.
It feels like a first draft, yeah.
Oh my God, somebody come in and help this. We need a script doctor. Is there a script doctor in the house?
Anybody.
Rough.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
All of their inside stuff, fucking half of the shit they were saying, I don't even know what they were saying. They're blah, 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 hit it from the bubble, hit it, bounce it, whatever.
No bounce, no play.
All of these things.
That dude's Jesus Christ bananas, fuck me Freddy. There's all these weird one-liners. Like you said, they all share. And it's what the fuck? Nobody would say this ever, No,
and they're making me feel like a third wheel as a viewer.
Yeah, because
watching the movie.
You're embarrassed. You're embarrassed for them. They're
what are you talking
What are you saying that for? You know,
cringeworthy.
Yeah.
I wrote one down too. Well, I wrote a few down. You hit them, most of them, Trevor, though.
Right.
And the other two that I wrote down was fuckaroo, which they say a fuckaroo and fuckery, which, okay, I don't hate that one in a way because it's like, maybe I could see how there's like this group of friends. You have this thing that you know is an inside joke, but there's like 18 of these, right?
There's a ton of them.
One of the other ones I wrote down that only gets hit once was somebody said crime in Netley's. Crime in Netley's. I had to like write it out phonetically because I was like, what the fuck?
What the fuck was that?
Does that even mean? Like, it was so fucking bad. I was like, it's okay to keep a few of these, you know, like we just watched, and sorry to compare, you know, but it's hard not to when we have 3 in a row, all Stephen King movies. But we just watched Christine and they call everybody shitters. And it's kind of funny. Like, I didn't hate it. And I started to get on board towards the end of the movie because I was like, okay, this is a group of friends. Like, my friends and I in high school had like words that we'd say.
Yeah. Call it dumb shit.
But not this fucking many. Like,
too many different ones. And can I ask, because I missed it, like, what's the same shit, different day is so, like, he writes it on
everything,
on the phone booth and it zooms in. So what does this mean? I mean, I know what it means, same shit, different day, but is this like special, like, oh, we all have this power and now there's aliens and it's different? Like, what was the importance of this saying that they had it written on everything and said it all the time?
There isn't any, which is kind of strange.
Okay.
Which is somehow, I mean, it's not somehow, it is worse. That's way worse.
Yeah.
It's like we focused on all this stuff and it's like, there really is no significance to any of these things. Like in the book, they say all of these things. There is like that whole little dialogue where I've had plenty of fuckeries turn into a fuckaroo or whatever the hell. That is lifted straight from the book.
Yeah.
Like there is all these other ones like Fuck Me Freddy, Jesus Christ Bananas, all these other weird ones. Like, I don't know about that other one you wrote down. That one's out of left field for me, but those are all in the book. The only reference, like the only important significance that they have is that Beaver says them constantly to the point where everybody else says them referencing Beaver. That's all it is. And so that's it. And even like same shit, different day, no bounce, no play. Like those are both of those things are something that the kids say to each other constantly and the adults say to each other constantly, but it has no real significance really at all.
And how, I mean, I get that that's the idea. How hard is it to probably showcase that in a movie, right? Like, I like the idea and the intention there, but to actually, I would have never gotten that. I don't know how the fuck you would have shown that. Okay, now it's almost become a meme of itself because our friend says this so much that now we're making fun of our friend. It didn't feel that way at all. It was just like so fucking, we're just going to say this over and over again. And also with like the Scooby-Doo, I wrote that down, like Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. It's like, okay, this is like the most serious fucking moment. What the fuck?
What is it like? Is that when that guy comes in the cabin or something like that?
It's when he's in the bathroom and I think they have to break down the door. And they're like
a fucking trail of blood coming out of the bedroom. And he's like, what the fuck? And Scooby-Dooby-Doo, we got some work to do now. You know, it's like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, it's weird.
Well,
it's
that was
really
from Duddits, right?
Yeah.
That was his comfort thing.
Scooby-Doo.
But you don't know that yet. Watching the movie.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
And I have to say, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Felicia, but I just have to say this in this moment before we move on. This irritated me because it was like the Fuck Me Freddy and the incessant use of these phrases that seems like, and I'm guessing, but I'm pretty sure this is the truth, Stephen King uses in the novels that then somebody decides, I'm going to remake this movie or I'm going to adapt this movie, right? And I need to go and take this and put it in the movie 18 fucking times. It happens almost every time that we see a Stephen King adaptation. And I really am starting to hate it because I'm seeing it over and over and over again. Because it's Fuck Me Freddy in this. It's Shitter in Christine, right? It's in Dr. Sleep. This really fucking irritated me is when the lady goes, well, hi there. She does it 87 times. I'm like, I fucking get it. I get it. He wrote it in there. It's part of their dialogue. I get it. I don't need it 87 times. It feels like complete bullshit fan service. Like it's total like masturbatory, just like, I need to put this in here because people read Stephen King and they're going to get it and they're going to love it. And maybe I haven't read Stephen King, so maybe I just don't get it and I don't love it. But I don't, that's where my head's at. And I just need to say right now, I fucking hate this. And it happens all the time in Stephen King adaptations. Somebody stop them. Somebody out there, if you're listening,
we need to put an end
to
this.
Stop these people in the script process.
Reference it once. Yeah.
Do you mean when they call it dumb shit? Is that what you're saying? They didn't say shitter all the time, right?
No, they say
when she was saying dumb shit.
In Christine, they say shitters all the like several times.
They call multiple people shitters. I'm starting to read that book as well, and they say that in the book often as well. And it's like, again, another one of those things where they stop and take a moment to talk about the significance of it, or like they talk about how this kid who has never said that before in his life is now, that's like something he says about people all the time. And it's weird. Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, I don't know if dumb shit happened in the novel for Carrie, because that was the Carrie.
Oh, Carrie! We watched so many. Carrie was dumb shit. That's when the girl was saying dumb shit over and over to John Travolta. Yeah,
I don't know. Gotcha. That one actually felt like it wasn't in the book.
Yeah, I don't know. I totally gotcha. I'm aligned.
But you know what I'm saying? I'm like, stop doing it.
For this, I feel like I'm on the same page as you. I can imagine this in the Stephen King novel, having read lots of Stephen King books where he's developing these. It's done well in It, where each of the boys have their personalities and have these little things about them, right? So I can see it probably working in the book, how Stephen King writes. I don't know about this particular book, but if they're saying all these things as friends and you kind of get an idea of who they are as a group of friends and how they communicate. But in the movie, it couldn't be done correctly in 2 hours. Like it just felt like a bunch of word vomit that I didn't understand what they were talking about, and it didn't matter. It wasn't developing them as characters at all. I already got the sense of them with the psychiatrist or the car salesman, or I already got that kind of a vibe of who they were, where we didn't need that. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think it's just that it's like, we didn't need it, and it's like, I feel like that was so much of this movie where it's just like a surface level. They just scratched the surface off and said like, this is the movie, and it's like, nah, you really could have taken like some nuance and like really developed some of the character. Like you just said, like, we understand kind of who these people are and like what they're about. We don't need you to bash us over the head with like weird childhood tropes, because we don't have 600 and some odd pages to understand that. You know what I mean? We have like 2.5 hours, for fucking God's sake. Like we should have had less. You know what I mean? Like we got 2 hours. We got 2 hours to get this figured out. We don't need to be fucking reciting these kids like childhood slogans for 10% of the movie. So it's like, get it out of here.
Just the fact they were friends since they were that young and they're all connected by this experience with Duddits is enough. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they don't have to even have catchphrases and all of that business.
Yeah. You just got too much to cover. You got way too much to cover.
God, it was never ending.
I do. Just to comment off of that, I paused it when I was like way into it. And I came out to the kitchen and my husband was there and I'm like, God, I feel like I've been watching this fucking movie for hours. Mm-hmm. Hours. And it was almost 2 hours. But still, I've watched movies that were almost 2 hours where it didn't feel that long, right? I think wasn't totally different genre, totally different movie. Schindler's List, almost 3 hours. And that fucking thing flew by to me. Mm-hmm. I love that movie. And it just like, I didn't feel like I was sitting there with this one. I was only an hour and a half in, or like an hour and 15 minutes. I'm like, God, I've been in here all day.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Watching this movie.
Right.
I feel like the first hour and 45 are like fine. I did the same thing, Felicia. Like I had to stop it and go do something. I had to run Jade to his car. So I like paused it. We left. I came back. And I started back up. So I have like, 40 minutes left or something of the movie. And I had such a hard time getting back into it. It was like right when it was the scene that Jonesy is starting to hide the files. Like he goes out into his mind and tries to hide the. Yeah. And I was like, I kept having to pause it because I was distracted. Like, that is not a good place to be, that I can't just like, I mean, it wasn't ideal that I stopped the movie and came back to it, but I was just like, this last like 40 fucking minutes is so rough and unnecessary and so just they just drag it out. It's like, just get to it. We know we're going to the reservoir. Let's just get there. Mm-hmm. We don't need to have all these fucking scenes. Also, by the way, can I say, what the fuck happened with the wipes, dude? They're just wiping constantly in the back, like 50 minutes of this movie. It's like,
dude, it does turn into Star Wars like halfway through the movie, just like you're saying, like these weird horizontal wipes across the screen or whatever, you know? Yeah. And like, or vertical wipes. Yeah, you go, what the fuck is this? Why is it doing this all of a sudden? I actually have a note. I have a note in here about just like the camera work in general. The first half of the film is all shot on like super long ass lenses from like really far away, and has these like long zooms, and like they're like tracking people in the scene for way too long. It's like just a strange edit, strange camera work. And then the second half, just like you're saying, it's like it's all Star Wars wipes of fucking left to right, you know, back and forth. And you're like, what is this, man? This became a different movie. Yeah.
There was one point that we got a wipe and we got another wipe. Like, literally 20 seconds later, we got like two wipes. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Like, first of all, nobody likes wipes, really. But if you're gonna do them, it's a passage of time or something. Like, well, now we're just overusing. But it didn't happen in the first half of the movie. It was totally weird to just bring in all of a sudden. It's fucking all over the place.
I think to me, it may be in the editing process, like you can see that there was definitely a break taken at one point, and they went, this movie, what are we gonna do with this, dude? What are we gonna do with this?
And all get in a room, listen,
dude,
this is not looking good. What the fuck are we gonna do? Wipes is the answer.
Star Wars did wipes, we could do wipes.
People like wipes.
People love wipes, dude.
I have to say, I did like the wipes. No, I'm just joking. I'm kidding. I did like the way they portrayed storing your memories and being inside your head and all the different memories. And then how it was hard to push them on the trolley, almost maybe like when you're really trying to like recall a memory. Oh, yeah. I thought that was really cool because sometimes sometimes I read books and it's a lot in the head. We were talking about that with Misery, actually, where there's a lot going on in the head, a lot of thoughts. And then how do you portray that in a movie, though? And I thought that they did a good job with that.
That was kind of interesting. I was going to mention something briefly about that because this was the first time I ever saw something like that concept of the memory warehouse, I think is what they call it. And I also love like the way it was designed. It's like this big spire of it's like a library, essentially, you know? And I remember seeing it in Dr. Sleep. They kind of reference it again.
Yeah, where I thought about that.
Abra has like a filing system in her head as well, you know? And so I was like, interesting. It kind of makes a comeback, you know? And I haven't read Dr. Sleep, so I don't know how significant it is in that. But I remember the visual aspect of it from movie to movie was similar enough that I immediately like understood the reference to it. And so I also like that. I thought it was a really cool concept.
Same. Yeah.
All right. We agree on that.
Yeah.
No, just joking. We agree on everything so far. We did it.
Something positive. No, I did like the sign and stuff about the memories. Like it was like, you know, Duddits. And then I think below Duddits, it was like something about Dairy Maine, which is a nice little, you know, I liked that Easter egg. And then it was like broken promises. Like it's so random. There's just like this random filing system for the I almost feel like this is one of my favorite parts to the movie because I feel like this is so strong and interesting. And even though it's like abstract, it fucking works. And I thought it was cool and different. Like you were saying, you hadn't seen anything. And I liked it. It just was, you know.
Yeah. And like referencing the book one more time, it is in the book, he actually doesn't know that this is a capability that he has. When he gets like taken over by Mr. Gray, his brain immediately retreats to this place, like it, and he without him knowing it, and all of a sudden he's just is like in a room somewhere that is like a tiny unfurnished office or whatever. And throughout like the course of the book, he actually like is, without knowing it, refurnishing the room to look more like his office at home. The room gets bigger at one point because he starts pacing around the room and makes the room bigger. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it's more of a representation that he's actually occupying more space in his own brain. There's other really cool stuff. Like, I think that is probably one of the strongest parts of the book, is that like, a relationship between him and Mr. Gray occupying the same body and the same brain. It's really cool. Like, that is a lot of really neat stuff in there. Cause it's like, Mr. Gray starts thinking up creative ways to get him out, to try and get him to come out of that office. And he starts thinking up creative ways to defeat that, what, you know, his techniques are. And it's really cool. Like about midway through the book, it gets pretty interesting. So that is one redeeming factor.
Yeah. Good to know.
Yeah.
I also liked Mr. Gray. So I liked the way he looked, because that's one thing when they reveal the monster or the alien. Mm-hmm. It's like I get really nervous because I hope it's good. I liked the way he looked. At first I wrote, oh wow, that ET thing is so beautiful. Not the snake. That was disgusting. Yeah,
the initial like gray.
The initial
guy,
where he appeared and was looking at him, and then how he dispersed. I thought that was good. I also liked the end battle. I liked seeing the two aliens and the light and the way they're wrapped and then how they dissipated. I don't know. I liked them. And I liked the worms because they were disgusting. They were disgusting. And so I thought, I don't know. I thought, you know, I liked them because they were gross. And I mean, it's gross. You think about it. I haven't ever seen aliens come out of the butt, but that makes sense that if they were inside, that they'd either come out that way or out of your mouth, out of your eyes, out of your stomach. We've seen that before. So, but when that guy fell off the toilet and you just see his butt, and you're like, oh,
Jesus. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. And last thing, because we're in the bathroom, the fact that guy wanted, I mean, OCD is pretty intense,
come on,
but
man.
that he wanted, even though I know they made it very clear that this tile was super clean, this guy is infected with
not clean
something.
enough.
Yeah, dude. I am not touching that fucking
blood.
floor. Are you kidding me?
His hands are gripping the bloody toilet, and he's trying to get that thing in his mouth. Fuck.
That's not in a million fucking years.
In a million fucking years.
No way.
There is one, Paige and I, we had to rewatch it twice, and I laughed so fucking hard when they initially kick that door in and see the guy on the toilet or whatever. Jason Lee's face when they kick the fucking door in. Paige saw it first and started laughing. She's like, you have to go back and look at this. And then we rewatched it. I was dying for like a solid 25 seconds, dude. It just like, because he kicks it in and goes,
yeah,
and like has no idea what to do. Yeah, he's no idea what to do.
I do like his line. I don't want to be seeing this right now.
Yeah, dude.
I did like that. That was funny.
Yeah.
Oh shit! This whole scene has got to be one of the most laughable moments, right?
Yeah.
Like I am like, the fucking toothpick. Are you serious? I didn't pick up anything about OCD, by the way. Like I didn't get that in the movie. Maybe I fucking missed something. I was like, let it go, bro. Yeah. You want to put that fucking toothpick in your mouth? Absolutely not. Of course you don't.
Not need that.
You can't wait 20 fucking seconds for this guy to come back with the tape.
Yeah, your friend is coming with the tape, dude. Like, why are you
just
stopping?
Relax for a minute.
Yeah.
It was so comically bad. It was like, this is just the dumbest fucking choice you can make as a character.
Just
it was
make the thing
so
strong.
Stupid.
Just make the thing so strong that his feet slipped in the blood, because his feet is in blood, right? So that he slipped or something like that. How do you guys like, though?
So many choices.
In this horrific scene, his friend runs, then comes back.
Yes, dude.
Says a little funny thing. And then the guy's like, ha, ha, ha. And then he goes. So there's like, okay, I guess like dark humor, but this is horrific.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. If I just watched a dude like shit himself to death and there's a monster, he shit a monster out of his ass to death, I ain't coming back to make a quip. You know what I mean? Like,
so Totally,
don't
totally.
go nowhere. You know, like,
But
are you
his friend
fucking kidding me,
loved it,
dude?
too.
Yeah. Are you fucking
His
kidding
friend's
me?
like, thanks for calming me down, buddy.
You got me. You got me good.
Shit. And also the moment, I mean, this whole scene has to be the fucking bottom of the barrel. Like, this has to be the dip. And in some ways, it's like kind of funny because it starts to become so bad that it's good. But it has to be like the worst part. I don't know. Again, this is where I'm on the fence. I'm like, did this just become brilliant because of how fucking bad it is? Yeah. I don't know. But he like, you know, he's yelling for his friend and he's like, squeaky, squeaky, like on the, you know, the fucking bike thing. Yeah. It's like, you're going to take a second to let your friend know that you're alive out in the shed when the actual like threat is underneath your butt in the toilet. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. They've been separated for 20 seconds. It just, the whole thing makes no sense. And also the amount of time that they argue back and forth about who's going to go and who's going to stay. Fucking ridiculous. This whole thing is just like, what the fuck?
But you know, the squeaky, it worked because his friend was like, Jonesy. Jonesy.
You're right. He sustained on laughs.
He was so
good
happy.
He's like, that guy. I tell
Catch
you what.
him going.
What a character that Jonesy is. Okay, there is a beast thing.
Dude.
And there's a dead dude with his butt right there. Like, everything is,
Yeah, dude. Gross.
Jonesy.
Oh, Jonesy.
That Jones. Ugh.
I thought the worst part of the movie was everything military related. That was the part that I was zoning out. And then like they would say something and I'm like, oh shit. I would rewind like the little 10-minute thing. Not 10 minutes, sorry, 10-second thing. Cause I was like, what did I miss? Like trying to focus. I did write one thing though. I love this. I loved it. But everybody. I really need to stop drinking wine for nobody. I did air quotes on loved, but when Morgan Freeman blows that guy's fingers off, who's doing the Scouts honor, and then he goes, "Oh yeah, look, I lost my temper there," and then moves on.
Yeah. He's like wiping the fucking blood up off the floor, and he's like, "What the heck, man? You kind of went a little crazy." And he's like, "All right, I did lose my temper," you know. And you're like, "Okay, all right, yeah, that's fair."
I kind of liked this part. I kind of liked it because it was so crazy. But like they don't set the stage for this at all. Like tonally, we're all over the fucking place. This is one of those moments where you're just like, what the fuck? But I mean, I could be okay with this if it was consistent throughout the movie, and it's not. This movie felt like 3 movies having a love child, and those movies are It.
Yep.
2018's Predator. Which I feel
has
like
Thomas Jane.
Oh, yeah. That's true. And Cabin Fever. These 3 things. Yes. And this movie felt like 3 different movies just smashed together. Probably because I've watched those more recently. But this thing with him and being crazy and it being funny, this part feels like, I mean, obviously the whole movie has comedic elements, but this part was just like, you know, zany. And it felt like 2018's Predator. But I felt like that movie did it better. It was funny to watch this person be unhinged. Whereas Morgan Freeman in this movie, it's like, sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's not. It's very serious.
Oh, see, I felt flip-flopped with you. Oh, I do think The Predator was way better. But I felt like the zany, dark humor in like the bathroom scene was better than Morgan Freeman. When I'm watching the Morgan Freeman military thing, I didn't even get that there was comedy.
I feel like
I didn't.
To me, I felt like it was unintentional. Yeah, I don't think that it was supposed to be funny. Although the eyebrows are strange. Maybe that's like your first clue. Maybe, but I feel like Morgan Freeman was told he had to play like a fucking like crazy person and went like, nah, I'm Morgan Freeman. I don't really want to do that. Like for the most of the movie, he plays like a really nice guy, you know, like a mentor type. And then and then like it's because it's weird, like the turn of like, well, he's gonna kill all these people, and it's like, of course he's gonna kill these people. That's the mission, dude. He told you that like at the beginning of the movie, he's gonna kill everybody here. You know, like there's an infection happening, there's an outbreak. That's to me, that's the logical thing a military person would do. You know, and then he's like, oh man, I gotta ditch this guy and go with this crazy person out into the fucking woods, you know, to chase an alien. You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah. This guy's like, this is more logical than the guy who's like, there's an entire outbreak happening out here and we should probably stop it. You know, like,
quarantine.
Yeah, we should quarantine
that's a
these
really
people.
good point.
But God, this moment, can I just say the line from Morgan Freeman where he's like, these people. What did he say? He was like,
Americans.
Americans. He's like, they never miss an episode of Friends.
They shop at They shop at Walmart.
They shop at Walmart. Yeah. They drive Chevrolets.
They never miss an episode of Friends. Yeah. It pains me to kill these people, you know? Like,
it pains me to kill Americans. Can I say, what about this? He wants to show Owens. Let me show you. I'm going to show you things you wish you'd never seen. And they get all suited up.
Yeah.
And they walk through this very small room of people that look pretty, you know,
healthy.
They have that red stuff, but they're fine. And then I'm like, okay, any minute he's going to show the pooping situation because now that's next level shit. That will cause anybody to say, okay, that's going to happen to all these people. Nuke them.
Yeah, dude. We need to kill everybody right now.
Crazy, right? Yeah. Now let's just go back in there and kill them all if that's going to happen. But no, they just have rashes. And then they go into this next room. I'm like, oh, behind that plastic, that's going to be the pooping people. And no, they take off their outfits. That's it.
Yes, that's it, dude. We just walked through. It's just a hallway. It's just a hallway. I'm going to show you some shit.
You're underwhelmed.
Yeah, dude. So underwhelming. I mean, I guess it makes sense, I suppose, why the Owen character would be like, maybe we don't need to kill these people. Like Morgan Freeman Colonel Curtis did a very bad job of selling like why this is important, you know?
And then also, can I just say they go out and they like interact with these people who have been put in this containment area, but they're like literally like feet away, like just talking to them.
Face to face.
Okay, I think we know that this is airborne at this point, and like you're just gonna be talking in the same. Like no.
Yeah, dude. Literally just got out of my hazmat suit because I was brushing next to these people, and then I'm gonna go get face to face with this guy outside. You know, like I don't know, man. That's a good
point. That's a totally good point.
What the fuck?
A lot of weird choices that were made. I thought it was weird that he had a microchip in his gun. Like, that's strange.
Because he must have had it in his gun forever. His own. Or no, he put it in there with knowing he was going to hand that gun over to that guy. But why did he assume that guy was not going to do the right thing? Because he was close to the other higher up dude? Because remember, really he did go into the office and say, General so-and-so. It seemed like he was closer to that other general. I'm Matheson. Just really trying.
That was weird too. Yeah, he makes one phone call. He's like, hey, go make a phone call to the general and get him over here. He makes one phone call, and in a matter of minutes, the entire U.S. Army redeploys on top of the one that's already been deployed, and says like, we're taking this bad boy over. You know, that's it. And it's like, and that's another like unintentional comedy part where Morgan Freeman's like hiding in a secret communications room in his trailer. and it's like sneaks out and he's like, hey, we're getting a lot of like electronic signals coming out of this thing. And he's like, oh, I just made a call to my wife, you know? And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't think the military general, 3-star military general is just going to buy that, you know?
Yeah. And he does.
Out. Oh,
and he just does. Yeah. And then he creeps out the back and just steals a helicopter. You know what I mean?
I zoned out on this part because I was like, oh, this Matheson guy, he's like going to lay the law on Morgan Freeman. And he comes in and I think I zoned out and then I snapped back to it. And the guy's just complimenting Morgan Freeman like, I just want you to know I respect so much what you've done. Or was that not Matheson? And I really zoned out for a minute.
That was him, yeah.
That was him, right? He was like, oh, I respect you. It was almost like he wanted his autograph. And then he left. I was like...
Yeah.
Didn't you just come in here and shut this whole thing down? Because this guy's out of control, you know? And you stepped in his trailer and just said like, hey, man, you're doing a really great job out here. Just, you know, big fan, huge fan.
Big fan.
I'm going to get out of here.
Huge fan. I'm going to say, I think my favorite parts of the movie are the children. I liked the children. I kind of liked that. Yeah, I did. I liked the story.
You have a bias, Felicia. You have a bias.
Why?
Because you have children.
You do too.
I have a child.
No, I liked.
And she doesn't even speak yet.
Yeah. Okay. I liked the kid who played Duddits. I liked him. I thought he was cute and I thought he did it well. And I always have respect for that. I don't know if he has a disability or not, but if you're playing someone with a disability, like Leonardo DiCaprio in What's Eating Gilbert Grape was phenomenal. Yeah. And so, because it could be done almost in like a comical way when it's not meant to be. So I thought he did good. I think it's just because I hate bullies. So I liked how these kids stood up to the bullies and they used logical reasons and the bullies left. And then, I
liked that too.
Yeah. We needed that piece of how and why Duddits gave him that telepathy. Mm-hmm. So I kind of enjoyed those pieces with the kids, but you guys go. You have the floor. Tear them down.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad, dude.
Bad.
Like the kid acting is really awful. I feel like they're all like very different ages as well. And the one like the redheaded kid's trying real hard
with the tears.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like it's really bad. And I think the fact that they don't spend very much time on it at all. Like there's just not enough time. To like develop these kids as characters. You just get like 2 really quick scenes of teenagers, preteens. I don't know. I'm not sure how old they are. Just like delivering lines in a really awkward way. I do agree. I think the logic that they had where it's like, I'm gonna go fucking tell, dude. And they're like, no, you're not. And he's like, I'm fast as fuck, boy. I'll go tell right now. And they're like, all right, I don't really want to get told on, so it's like that to me makes sense as a kid. You're like, cause that's like the number one fear is like getting caught,
Yeah.
And so somebody telling on your ass,
Yeah, you don't want that.
You're being so mean.
I agree. It's the acting for me. It's the acting and the dialogue. Don't give these kids this fucking dialogue. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, dude.
Come on. It's like they spent all their money and they were like, shit. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the kids. Who are we going to get to play the kids?
Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
second unit. Yeah.
Yes.
No, and they were that bad.
Oh, they're bad. Felicia, admit it.
So bad.
They're
Felicia,
so bad.
Come on.
I'll have to watch it again. I didn't have that reaction. And usually with really bad acting, that's like my thing. Like I hate this because of the bad acting. And then something has to come in to kind of make it better. It's the first thing that takes me out of the experience. I didn't feel that with them, but
I'm shocked.
Maybe just because I was really curious. Maybe I just really wanted to know the story. I was very curious about the telepathy. I was curious about this little boy. I hate bullies. You guys do too. It's not like you guys are like, no, yeah, along the bullies.
Right.
But I'm just saying, maybe it's because I was just really curious, so I wasn't even focused on that. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm not saying they were excellent. I'm just saying it didn't affect me in a negative way.
Yeah.
I'm not faulting the children in any way. Like I always have like a sense of leeway for children in movies and their acting, because it's like, you're kind of limited as to like what you can do and what like performances you can get. You're super lucky if you get like a really good child actor. And so, it's like, whatever, I can get over like a kid not being like an amazing actor, but like Tawny was saying, the dialogue that they gave these kids to say, I'm like, oh my fucking God, dude. Like you just put the nail in the coffin for all these kids' careers,
Yeah, you did not do them any favors. Like help them be successful and give them less fucking contrived dialogue.
So bad.
The combination is fucking awful. And also I just can't help myself but feel like because I've seen it done really well, this just feels like a total ripoff of, in the worst way, like the B-movie ripoff of it. I'm just like, boo.
Or Stand By Me. Did you guys ever see Stand By Me or read the book?
Yes.
That's another one. That's also Stephen King, and there's also like centered around children and shitty bullies, that type of thing. And it's like there's some serious Stand By Me vibes, even in the book and in the movie. Like just the way they're presented, but like I said, it's like a flash, and then they're gone. So you're like, what the fuck what was that even for? Literally just to say like we got powers. Like, oh man,
you got to see Stand By Me, Tawny. I think you would really enjoy that. It's really good. But I agree. The whole time, even Duddits had that yellow raincoat. I was like, this is just like it.
Yep, the glasses.
And I know you tie things in, but not make them so almost identical. You know what I mean?
It felt like he had taken the outline for it almost and like, okay, but what if I just stripped away the events and interchanged them for aliens?
You know, like literally
I don't
Mr. Gray. You know what I mean? Like Mr. Gray is
Pennywise.
Also that's Pennywise. He's like Bob Gray or whatever. And so it's like he's Mr. Gray in this, and they are from Derry, Maine.
Great point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. It's
they're all from Derry.
Story. It's the same story.
Yeah, he just kind of like really regurgitated he like took some parts and pieces off of some of his other books and just smashed them together. But you know, again, to be fair, he was on a lot of drugs. Like he was like super doped up on morphine when he wrote this book. And so, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they had a lot. They were from Derry, Maine. There was also, they mentioned something about the crazy guy that killed people. They mentioned something, you know, allude to Pennywise, and there was Pennywise graffiti on the building. So yeah, there was a lot of it. I think I love this about Stephen King's universe, though, that there's hidden nuggets in all the movies that weave them together. But maybe this was just too much.
Well, yeah, it just feels like he's just regurgitating ideas, you know, because like you said, it's like if it had just been that they were from Derry and that there was references to Pennywise, like that's one thing. But the fact that it's like, the characters share the same names, even though they're not the same characters. And then like the kids are eerily similar to the other kids, you know, that type of thing where it's just like, I mean, you're just like, this isn't new or fresh in any way. You're just reusing assets, you know?
Totally. Even that guy being like Scout's Honor. Remember this happened in Christine. And again, we know this because we've watched them back to back, which doesn't help. But he's like Scout's Honor. That's true. And in Christine, he's like, I'm not a scout. But this guy, you know, gets his fingers blown off. It does feel like the same ideas just tossed in again.
I think it was in Predator, but correct me if I'm wrong, Tawny. I liked that the most powerful person in the story had a disability. What we would see as a weakness and a disability actually was not that, and it made them power. And it wasn't Predator the same thing?
Yep.
I like that. It's a small thing. They don't play it up, but I just think that that's cool, that the hero is someone with a disability, where oftentimes in, you know, humanity and cultures, we see them as weaker. We don't, not here on Two Chicks in a Horror Flick.
Absolutely
but
not.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I liked that they did that again. Yeah. Not again, that I saw that again.
Yeah, it was first.
The last time wasn't first.
Yeah, to be fair, right.
Technically.
They did it first. That was like one thing I really wanted there to be more of, because I watched the movie long before reading the book. And I remember reading the book, and then I was really let down by the ending. Because there really is he's like in the book, Duddits is not an alien. He's just some kid. Like he's literally just some kid with supernatural powers and gives supernatural powers to the other kids. And I really wanted there to be more to it. Like I did like the idea that he is an alien, like that's been on Earth for a long time.
Yeah.
And there's even some stuff in the book where it's like Mr. Gray is kind of succumbing to human thoughts and feelings and tastes. Like he eats bacon for the first time and really loves bacon, you know, like there's other stuff in there where it's like Mr. Gray can see the merits of being human, and how like maybe there's like one section where he's like, maybe it would be better to just live as a human rather than to like infect the human race and continue my
That's interesting.
Alien race, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
And so I thought that like for a moment while reading the book, I thought they were going to like allude to something like that, where Duddits has been there for a long time and has actually found like being human is better than taking over the human race. You know what I mean? Which I was like, that's a way better fucking idea.
Yeah,
but
yeah, you should remake this movie. You should totally remake this movie.
I'm back. I'm back. Come on back.
Because
back.
I love that. Because even if Duddits came down, because maybe they saw what was going to happen and they traveled back in time, the alien came down and became Duddits and retained memory, didn't forget when he came down into human body. And being a human and having that experience with bullies, but then having an experience of those boys that showed him love and compassion,
Right.
that he saw redeeming points of the human race.
Totally.
So now, he wants to protect the human race, where this other alien species, a different race of aliens, is coming and wanting to take over, which humans do this. This is all believable stuff.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
when I asked you that question about aliens, I like to think that they're, good and enlightened. There could be, though, like different, because if we became so enlightened that we're able to travel that far to a different place, we'd probably still try to take it over and do scientific shit on people.
Oh, something. Yeah.
So anyways, if these two came down and now they're fighting for, and the one may be crossing over to like humanity because of what he's experiencing, and then like the power, like, no, I'm going to infect this race, and then Duddits comes in and takes him over. There we go. Sorry, I just think that would be fun.
Yeah, we did it. I think it's a way better ending. I think it would be easier to explain, and it would make sense why this kid has telepathic powers that he can give to other people. You know what I mean? Because it's like in the book that like the red rash gives people telepathic powers. Everybody gets it. That has it, gets it.
Oh, but but they didn't have it. Only the people that were infected had it. In the movie.
Yeah, like what
the
do you mean?
kids didn't have it, right?
They did.
They don't have the rash, but they have telepathy. And in the book, they have telepathy, but not the rash. And then other people get that I think they call it virus, I think is what it's called. They get the virus, and it's like, it is a form of telepathy. It allows them to like, their minds connect to other people's minds at like great distances. They can read people's thoughts. They know where people are, that type of stuff. So like, to me, all those things tracked, because it's like, if Pete and Duddits can easily find things or people with these like certain powers, then it would make sense that like, if everybody got this type of thing, that it's because someone's from an alien race, you know what I mean? And so it's like, it all stemmed from there. I think it's way cooler. I don't know personally, but
I also liked the fact that Duddits seemed to be in the movie some sort of like related, but not exact. Like in the fight between the two, I got the sense that like the Duddits alien, whatever, was almost specifically designed to fight the other alien. Like they were like polar opposites or something. And so I felt like that made sense also in a way that it was like, okay, maybe, you've got, this thing that's what's like you evolved to completely be the opposite and defend against this thing. And like Duddits is like on Earth prepping for this. Like, so I think there's a couple different takes, I think, there that could work really well.
Yeah, definitely.
I liked Damian Lewis's performance as Jonesy. I thought he did a good job of going back and forth with the thing in his brain. At first, when he was like so proper Englishman, I was kind of taken aback. But then it was different enough, and it was, that we knew who was talking and the back and forth. And so I liked that part.
Why was that? Does anybody have an answer?
Why does he have a cheeky British accent?
Yeah.
The only thing I did see, who's the guy from Malcolm McDowell?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the actor said he was doing an impression of Malcolm McDowell while he was playing Mr. Grey.
That's the inspiration he drew on, so that he was consistent with Mr. Grey's voice versus his voice.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like Mr. Grey as an alien came to Earth and watched, because I felt like that was the only thing that could make sense, is like,
no, he just
tapped
drew
into.
No,
okay,
he just made a character choice on the day, and Lawrence Kasdan said, like, you know what, that's it.
Love it,
dude.
Love it.
I love that.
I hate it.
You got any more ideas?
I hate it.
You got any more ideas? Because I am fucking fresh out of ideas over here. All I got is wipes. That's all I got left, dude. All I have is wipes.
He's like, I had 100 ideas. I put them all into the movie. Yeah, I'm out of ideas. I need one more. Help me.
I need one more idea.
Wow. Okay. I thought there was some relevant. I thought maybe in the book there was some tie to TV or, signals out into the world, out into the universe from our Earth. Maybe that would
have been good. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
That would have been cool, of kind of like, that's learned human behavior through our movies and media, that would have been a really cool idea.
But no. Okay. I hate it.
But no.
I hate it.
You hate it. Welcome to the dark side, dude.
Yeah. That's one of my big, like, this is so fucking over the top. And it gets to the point where it feels comical, but they didn't intend for it to be that way. It's just like, what the fuck is happening?
What the fuck?
They really committed to that.
Yeah. He wanted the voice to be consistent.
It was that.
It was consistent, guys.
You know what?
Was consistent.
He nailed the voice, dude. He nailed that voice.
So I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy as an actor. I think he didn't.
Really? I love this guy.
I thought he was really bad in this movie. I like him in everything else. I thought he was overacting like a motherfucker in this thing.
Yes.
He was getting real hammy,
Yes.
and nobody told him to like dial it back. They just said, "Nah, dude, keep on going. We love it. Everything on this side of the camera.
Turn it up."
Yeah, dude.
There were so many moments where they just had shots of his face
just like,
reacting. Yeah. That one where he was
y'all gotta
like,
watch this on YouTube now because it's like,
yeah. But it was like that click.
Yeah.
That snap of being normal and then being nuts.
Yeah, he's
no,
crazy.
but even no. But even before this,
no.
No, before he was like, infected or possessed by this fucking Mr. Grey or whatever, he was like, there were so many moments where there was just like close-up shots of his face and he was like,
yeah, dude,
he was
exactly.
just nodding.
Just big ass teeth and a weird smile. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it made like the weird like fire scorch noise every time he put his hood on. Did you guys notice that?
No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back and watch this.
Go back. They do it like 3 times, I think, for no reason. No idea.
No reason.
It's just like
no reason.
I don't know. It's weird. Like, yeah.
That's great. I mean, just it's all over the place. I do feel like there's moments when he's really good. I don't want to say overall the performance is
I think when he's playing like the normal Jonesy, I think he's way better. Like, he's subdued and stuff. And I think like his accent's really good because that guy's actually like Scottish, I think, or something.
Oh,
Isn't
okay.
he? I don't know. He's not from America, that's for sure. But I do think he does like a really good job playing normal Jonesy. I think Mr. Grey is a little ridiculous for my taste, but
yeah, we start to get a little yeah. There's this like all-star cast that should be doing a great job, but like nobody's doing a great job.
Could you? I think. Well, obviously, it comes down to the directing first of all.
Oh yeah,
and the writing's terrible. But it's like, can you imagine being on this fucking set? You got signed on to this movie. Just say you're like the Grip. You know what I mean? Like you're the best boy who signed on to this fucking feature. You're like, dude. You go home and you're telling your friends about it. Dude, fuck, I just got signed on to a movie. It's got Lawrence Kasdan fucking writing and directing it. You know what I mean? It's like, we got fucking Morgan Freeman. We got Tom Sizemore, who was like an Academy Award nominee or something like that at that point. Yeah. And like Thomas Jane's in this thing. He's an up-and-comer. Timothy Olyphant. It's like they're listing all these fucking names of people that are attached to this movie. And then you go and see the movie and you go like, what the fuck? They just burnt cash. That's what they did. They just burnt fucking $68 million or whatever it was.
$68 million. Yeah. Lawrence Kasdan admitted the film's failure wounded his career, and it later prevented him from getting 2 films produced.
Yeah, it should have.
Oh no!
You don't just make shit movies and keep making shit movies,
I am surprised at the low ratings, though, because I kind of thought this was one of those like cult classics. Like I haven't, looked at it or looked at the ratings or anything. Mm-hmm. And I thought people really liked it. So it was kind of surprising.
One liked it.
No one liked
except Amazon Prime watchers, which I'm pointing at myself because I am an Amazon Prime watcher.
Yeah, dude. That's the only way.
Which it made me giggle, Trevor, in the beginning because you didn't know how I felt about it. And you're like, what's wrong with those Amazon Prime people?
Well, I own the fucking movie. So what's wrong with me, It is weird because I don't think it's a cult classic. I don't even think it's I think this has like no following whatsoever. I think this comes up every once in a while in like movie podcasts, and people go, what the fuck is this thing? Like, who made this and why, and how is it so bad? And then that's as far as it ever gets. It doesn't like, I don't know, like it should be so bad that it's good, and that a lot of people should know about this movie, and it should be something just like you're saying, Tawny, where it's like people sit down once a year and watch this fucking thing and laugh,
Yeah.
But it just doesn't happen because it's too goddamn long. You know what I mean?
I want to say totally The Shining with the chick in the snow. Totally reminded me of The Shining with what's his name? I was like, oh, Shining.
You know what else reminded me of The Shining was the zoom in on his eyes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the big long zooms from like fucking 200 feet away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're just pushing in on people's faces and stuff. And like at the first half of the movie is all like these long lenses with extreme close-ups. And it's like, what the get out of here? Like back up a little bit.
Yeah, you're right.
Weird.
So many tie-ins. Yeah.
Yeah, this movie's interesting.
That's for sure.
That's it. That's all I got. It's interesting.
Does anybody have anything else they want to share? I went through my notes. I'm trying to think. I think I covered the things that I enjoyed. I can say the comedy. There's been times where we've watched movies, Tawny, where the comedy, even though it was dark comedy, I didn't enjoy it at all. It kind of threw me off. I didn't feel that with this movie, though, so you guys will be surprised. I didn't I don't know, even when Pete was out, all the stuff that he was saying to that, when he was out with that woman and he was waiting for his friend to get back and the different stuff he was saying, I didn't hate the comedy. But yeah, that's really it on my part. The military stuff, I don't even remember what happened with that. And
yes, it's pointless.
Yeah.
I like the aliens doing telepathy. Don't hurt us to try to.
I did too.
Change their minds, and then it made me think for a minute. Like, are they really bad, or are they being bad because we're being bad? Because we are, trying to slaughter them. So they're like, "Fuck you." You know what I mean? That's it.
All right.
That would have been a great thing to center the story around, but.
Yeah, more of a moral, like we talked about earlier, where it's like more of a moral thing of like, does the human race deserve to be eradicated, or is it better to be human? You know what I mean? Like, there's just like some way different themes that could have been played out, I think, way better in this and the book as well. That's actually interesting. You mentioned that about them like, don't hurt us. In the book, there's a little part where they talk about they have like recordings of famous actors saying things like this, because the aliens are actually like impersonating actors. They're impersonating really famous people. Yeah.
So they must have. There's got to be a transmission thing, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be.
It's that they read your mind, so they know everything about you as soon as they get there, basically. So they know like what you would like and what you trust and that type of thing. So they are trying to portray themselves as trustworthy, in order to lure you in. Like, they're bad guys in the book. They're not like good people. But
okay. Thanks for clearing that up. I wasn't sure.
Exploiting your trust in celebrities.
They're manipulating you. Yeah. That's what they're trying to do.
Okay, so it'd be like all of them sound like Eminem, and I'm going to be like, oh, I don't want to kill Eminem.
He's a national treasure.
Yeah, we gotta listen to that guy.
We gotta save these. We obviously know it's not him down there, but I don't know. They like him too.
Yeah.
They can't be all that bad.
Yeah.
So now we move into rating. We rate out of 5. So who wants to go first? Should we allow our distinguished guest to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay, cool. Trevor.
I'm not afraid.
He's ready. He's ready. I'm not ready. Okay.
Put me in, coach. I'll say 2, because you guys can do like weird points, right? It's not just like
we can.
Flat
up to
numbers.
2 decimal points.
Ooh, okay. I'll do a 2.75 out of 5. That's all I'll give it. That's as much as I can get out of this bad boy.
Okay. All right.
Do you want me to go next, Tawny? Or do you want to go next?
I'm still looking. Yeah.
All right. So I thought about this long and hard. I will say I was going to give it a little bit more, but then after talking to you guys, you did bring me back. You bring me down a little bit. So I was going to give it a 3.25.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Wow.
So I am going to give it a 3. And this may be a movie that watching in the future, I'm going to like it less. But on my first go around, I enjoyed it. Minus the whole military piece. I enjoyed the movie and I like how it ended. I liked pieces of it. I would watch it again and then maybe that would be my downfall. But
definitely.
Which I feel validated because it's not too far from your score.
No, and the three's okay. I think 3's an acceptable rating. Now, 3.25 was pushing it.
Okay, sorry.
You said 3.2. Like, whoa, come on. Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad I went down then. Maybe he'll still listen to the show. He'll want to be on the show again. I brought my score down.
Yeah. All right, Tawny, what do you got?
I am going to give this a 2.75.
Ooh.
Right.
Samesies.
Also. Yeah.
Samesies.
Which is below what I gave Predator and Cabin Fever, which I referenced already, that I think did some of these things better. Mm-hmm. It just feels so, I don't know, smashed together. It's so fucking all over the place. It's a wild fucking movie. And the last thing that I'll say is I think the biggest thing that is a detriment to this movie is I was describing it to Jade and I was like, this movie feels like it was made by boys for boys.
Yeah.
Which makes so much sense that you were like, when I watched this as a kid, I was like, hell yeah. I'm like, this is an action comedy, like
horror, science fiction, something. Yeah.
But I'd put horror the last
at
of the
bottom.
Like, yeah. And it's just so like, I don't know. It just feels like it's almost like an AI trying to create what a blockbuster hit would be like out of these things, right? Like it's like so wild and you can't help but like it kind of because it's so crazy, but it's still not good. So that's where I don't even think it's worth a watch because a 3 is a worth a watch level.
Oh, I think it's worth a watch because I enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
There's people out there that like Amazon and like to watch this movie.
Yeah. I definitely think it's worth a watch. Like I think it's worth a watch. I think it's worth seeing. Like there's some weird things in here that are worth like going and telling people you know and care about or total strangers, whatever. I don't know your life, but you know, like. There's some weird stuff in here that's worth talking about for sure. I mean, we just spent I don't know how many time doing it. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you should watch it, but I cannot give it a 3.
I couldn't give it a 3 either.
Yeah. You know what, guys? Your opinion is not wrong. All opinions are accepted here, and we appreciate it. Appreciate your honesty, and I appreciate you guys not bashing me for giving it a 3.
No.
It was close on a 3.25.
It was close. You were right there. I saw your face. You were about to cancel me.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah, that was it.
I saw it in
We're
your
done
eyes.
here. And I was going to get up and walk out.
And I got real nervous. So I was like, okay, 3. I was like, 3 and his eyes flickered with the and I was like, 3 and a 3. No, I'm just joking.
Felicia,
nothing.
If you're a 12-year-old boy, that's cool.
Yeah.
On the inside. Aliens, action, military, jeeps.
She hated the military.
I don't like the military portion.
Telekinesis.
Yeah,
telekinesis, aliens,
spaceships.
And the blood.
Hell
I like
yeah.
spaceships. I do. I love spaceships. And I hate bullies.
Yeah, bullies, boo.
Kids standing up for what's right.
Yeah, bastards.
Yeah. American citizens. Yeah.
Friends. I love Friends.
Oh my God, that was so much fun. I hope you had fun too, Trevor. It was just a blast. Good.
I had a great time.
Good.
You guys are a hoot.
Awesome.
Thank
you.
you.
I'll take it. Well, Trevor, you are awesome. Share with the listeners where they can find you, where they want to go to connect with what you do.
Well, there's not a lot for old Trey. I am not a big social media guy, so I don't really do social media stuff. However, we do have Film vs. Movie, the podcast that we talked about at the beginning of the episode. That's primarily what I dump all my personal energy into. And I think it's really worth people going and listening to. Film vs. Movie. We're all over the place. Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, all sorts of stuff. So that's it. That's all I got.
Nice. All right. So much fun. Thank you so much. Next week, everybody, we will be watching Amityville Horror 2005. So not the original, the 2005 version. And we're going to have the guest. Sorry. Wine is gone. So we're going to have Jess from Horror Movie Crew. So super excited to have her on the show. You can also find us at twochicksandahorrorflick.com, and that will lead you to everything else, like our social media, our Discord community, all these other things. And what else, Tawny?
If you want to support the show, you can find us on Patreon, and we also appreciate if you rate and subscribe and give us a little review on Apple Podcasts or whatever you're listening to us on. But yeah, we will see you next week. Thank you again, Trevor, for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And we hope you have such a good night. No nightmares.
Ooh.